Hey Honu Honi fam, it's Bex here. I'm out in the garden and I'm about to take you on a tour of our beautiful little farm space, I guess, with our surf camp. For anyone who's been on it or spoken to any of the staff about it, you'll know our dream is to have our own property and have the camps running there, have the farm running there, so you guys can actually see the produce being farmed and see what's going into all your food and everything. But for right now, obviously we're based out of the caravan park, and so you don't get to see the garden, which is a little bit sad. So I'm going to take you on a tour of it today. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer. And my apologies in advance for how many weeds there are because I have been a little bit slack at weeding. So I am sorry for that, but I can't wait to show you around. So to start off with, I'm just along the side of the house at the moment, and I'm going to show you basically our herb garden. So this is probably actually the one that we use the most out of all of the veggie gardens. So we have loads of beautiful mint growing in here. It's actually starting to slip underneath the fence into our neighbour's yard, so hopefully they don't mind. And there's a sunflower here that's just going to seed now. And then sage, which has really taken off. We've got 2 little bushes of that. This one was planted maybe, I don't know, 3 months after that one, so you can see the difference it's made. It's just exploded. Our beautiful chives, oregano or oregano for my North American friends. And this is more oregano here, and this one here is actually a Thai mint that just happened to grow out of this little pot of oregano, so I've got a bit of both, which is nice. And then this was coriander. It's gone to seed now, and we've actually had beautiful king parrots come in and eat it all, which has been really lovely to see them come and chew it all up. It's so sweet. And then we're kind of moving on to our gorgeous tomato forest, as I've been calling it. So you can see it's actually kind of completely taken over where that coriander was, and there is just so much. It's literally going so high and spilling out of this garden bed. We've had a tough time getting the tomatoes to turn red though. This one's just starting to go in here. But because of the weather, it's been so humid, there's so many tomatoes on there, but just most of them are still green. That's okay though, we'll get lost soon. So that's just tomato forest number 1. I actually have a few of them around the house. So this one, I reckon this one's the biggest one though, for sure. And right next to that, we have our beautiful parsley here, which again has gotten a little bit squished by the tomatoes on one side, and then our silver beet on the other side, which has also grown like crazy. So we've got heaps of parsley in here, which is nice. And this has just started to go to seed, these silver beets here, or Swiss chard, whichever you prefer, whichever you know. But we've got stacks more of them around the garden, which I will show you now. Actually, I nearly walked straight past these little guys here. These are little chili plants, so you can see there's not anything on them yet. They're still quite small, so I'm waiting to see if they'll grow. I nearly walked straight past them, which is awful, but hopefully we'll get some gorgeous chilies, because as you guys may know, if you've been on camp, a lot of the food that we cook has a little bit of a kick to it, so definitely our chili plants will be something that would be great for us to be growing ourselves. Moving up the garden a little bit, we've got our beautiful basil growing in here. It's just about to start going to seed, so if I wanted to, we could pull these flowers off here and let it keep going. But to be honest, I've got heaps of basil seeds, and we can kind of just keep planting them out, so more than happy for this one to have done its job and go to seed, and hopefully the seeds that drop in here will just respawn a whole bunch of new basil, which would be fab. And it's next to another beautiful big sunflower, which is also just going to seed, so hopefully we'll grab all the gorgeous sunflower seeds from in there. But the sunflowers have been really great for bringing in loads of beneficial insects, bugs, butterflies, all of the things that help the garden grow really well, which is awesome. So this is tomato forest number 2. This is actually our compost and obviously at some point I've thrown a tomato in here and this has just sprung out of it. So I can actually see a red tomato in there. I might take that now while we're walking around. And these ones are going to go maybe today or tomorrow, which is awesome. But this is actually just one tomato plant, which is amazing. Also growing out of the compost are some beans, which is nice. So there was maybe 7 or 8 of those little plants that was growing out. So I got most of them and planted them out, but obviously I missed these ones. And then just sitting up the back here is our beautiful lemon tree. We can see there's a lemon that's so close to being ripe, but there's stacks of little buds all over the place. We're gonna have loads of lemons soon, which I'm really, really excited for. Over here, lost in those weeds, that plant there, that is a little capsicum plant with the tiniest little capsicum I have ever seen. It's my very first attempt at growing capsicum, so I don't know, we'll see. If anyone's got any tips for those, let me know, because I could probably use them. But definitely giving it a shot, and from here, basically it's trial and error. Like, we figure out what grows well in some places. You'll see as I walk through, there are different spots where I've planted the same thing in different areas to see where it takes off and see where maybe we need to put something else. So yeah, maybe a different spot for the capsicums next time. That is my only capsicum plant though, so yeah, it's definitely something to try a different strategy with next time. And if you have tips, let me know. Alright, so this part of the garden I know looks the weediest, but and there are definitely weeds in there, but all of this is actually rocket, as in the salad leaf. So there's stacks of rocket in through here. Ooh, and a bug. So if you have come and eaten, for example, couscous salad, we serve it on every single camp. You get the rocket straight from our garden from that, and there is absolutely stacks of it in here. As you can see, there are also dandelions in there. I promise that we don't pull leaves off them, you would know. And then in there also, hidden away, are some gorgeous lettuces that are looking very fresh and delicious. So there's a few of those in there, in amongst the dandelions and the rocket. So definitely perfect for burrito bowls. Some of you guessed that that was one of the meals that we're cooking this week. You are absolutely right. Yes, burrito bowls. What else do we use it for? I can't even think. I'm blanking. But yeah, it's looking really fresh and really nice. And there's more of them growing throughout the garden as well. And then next to our rocket and our lettuce, some beautiful flowers. But this plant in here is pretty much being swallowed at the moment by all the weeds. That is what we call a tamarillo plant. So some of you would have managed to get tamarillo on our camps. My dad owns a farm, and so sometimes we go and get produce from his farm, whatever's in season, and he has massive tamarillo trees. So tamarillos are this really cool fruit. They're called a tomato fruit, which I feel is an awful name for them because it does such a disservice to them. They are really yummy, not super sweet, but kind of almost, I was going to say like a pomegranate. They've got all the seeds inside, maybe between a pomegranate and a kiwi fruit is what I'm thinking, but they're delicious. And so that's going to take a couple of years to get going, but once it has fruit on it, it just has so much. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with you in coming years. As we're walking through this one, you may recognize, so sometimes this gorgeous plant is in the tent. Some of you will have seen it on camp and will recognize it as one of your tent buddies. It is looking a little bit worse for wear at the moment, which is why it's sitting out here, but this is actually a banana plant. And it is a banana plant that has been taken from shoots that have actually grown in Victoria, which is grown bananas in Victoria, I should say, which is a bit absurd. So I mentioned that Dad has a farm, and one of the things he's obsessed with in Victoria of all places is growing tropical fruit. So he's gone out of his way to try and grow as much tropical fruit as he can on his farm, and one of the things he's successfully grown is bananas. So this plant's been a cutting from his banana tree down on his farm in Mornington Peninsula, so it has potential to actually grow bananas. But that being said, for the most part I keep it as an indoor house plant for decorative purposes in the tent, and I have no intention of taking it out of that pot, because as soon as I do, it's just going to get massive. So yeah, if you see it, it's a banana plant. It's very cool. If it ever has tiny little bananas on it, they are actual genuine bananas. So very exciting, but it's just taking a rest right now, because it's probably done a few too many weekends and weeks in the tent in a row. So just giving it a bit of sun time and a lot of water to bring it back to life, to make sure it can keep going. And that brings us over to this absolute forest of Swiss chard, rainbow chard. There's some more, so there's another lettuce in here, more basil. These are little ones that never took off, so same thing. And then like next to this massive ass, there's so many of them. There's another lettuce down here somewhere. There it is. And then so much. I need to learn how to cook more with this, with Swiss chard or silver beet, because I actually don't really have very many recipes for it. So if anyone has suggestions of how to cook it, it's really important that our food is as delicious as possible, which is why I think I've got a bit of a hang up about using it, because I associate it with being gross from my childhood. But yeah, if you do know anything that we can do with it, let me know. Hiding in this forest of silver beet is actually a tiny little olive tree, which has just been completely consumed by these monster silver beets. And there is a red lettuce out here as well, and possibly my favorite plants, which are not actually edible, but these are sulfur cosmos flowers. Neither of them are out at the moment, so this one's just lost its petals, and this one here is just about to bloom, I reckon in the next 2 or 3 days or so. And they are my absolute babies. I just wanted to show you them. They're not really relevant to camp, so sorry, but they're my favorite flowers in the world. So they're getting the special treatment up here, hanging along the fence where the bugs can't get them, and they're the only 2 that have survived as well. I had a whole thing of them, and the insects absolutely love them, so that's why they're so special, I think, because they're hard to get a hold of and not have them just eaten entirely. And then underneath these guys, backing onto our silver beet forest, these are actually corn along here. So these are growing little corns, and you can see we've actually got a whole line of them going all the way down here. Had corn before. I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out. I did plant them really late in the season, so I'm actually not 100% sure if we'll get any. Yeah, we'll just play it by ear, but I'm excited at the prospect of having them, because so much good Mexican food with corn in it. It would be amazing for you guys as well. Like, that would just be very exciting with the options that would bring to us at camp. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some corn from those. So following our corn trail along, we come into a bed of, this is actually cucumbers. So there's a big fat one. How funny. There's another one there as well. I might actually pick some of these while we're out here. So beautiful cucumbers. They're super fresh. Again, going into salads. Whoa, and a huge one. Look at that. I'm gonna pick that one too. I might have to go back and get a bowl for carrying around what we picked today. But yeah, so gorgeous cucumbers all throughout here. We've got a variety of cucumber plants. So this one here, I can't remember its name off the top of my head, but you can see it's like a prickly kind of cucumber. I'll find it out and post it for you on the video. Got continental cucumber growing up here. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah. I'm not sure what kind that is. It looks like a regular cucumber, but I suppose that's not really a thing. A regular cucumber. To be honest, I use them all in the same way anyway, but yeah. So cucumbers, which is cool. I'm just gonna run inside and grab a bowl because I will harvest while we chat. All right, so moving on from our cucumbers, we've got this very, very sad looking little plant here. This is actually an eggplant plant, or aubergine, I guess, for again my North American friends. Look, it's pretty sad looking. It's got flowers on it, so maybe it'll grow. Where it's planted was actually a giant hole just filled with mulch. So I emptied it out and put some soil in there as much as I could, but I don't know why the hole was there in the first place. So maybe it's just not meant to have a plant in it. It's not looking super happy, but fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. And with any chance, we'll have some eggplants because obviously that's something that I use quite a lot as well. If you've come down for a meal, it's in the lasagnas, it's in a lot of the pasta dishes that we serve, so it's pretty exciting. And right next to it, more excitingly, are these beautiful zucchini plants, which are looking awesome. Haven't had any zooks yet. Again, like the corn, planted these quite late in the season, so that might be why that looks like one growing there actually. Look at you. Yeah, got a zucchini. Can you see that? One growing there. So that's going to be the first one of the season over here. And then next to it again, another absolute forest of Swiss chard, rainbow chard, and another tomato forest as well. It's just so much. Oh, and I see another massive tomato. Look at that. Nice. As you can tell, I just get super excited anytime I find a veggie. This makes farming a very pleasurable part of my life. So this garden bed, it was actually meant to be predominantly flowers to attract all the insects in. So you can see they are trying to poke out. We've got some beautiful white lace flowers here. These ones are poppies and they're gorgeous. The sun's not out at the moment, which is why they're not open. I don't know what these ones are called actually, but they're absolutely stunning flowers. You can see them throughout. But yeah, the silver beet just kind of took off, and to be honest, I kind of like it like this more. This looks amazing. But yeah, I had a good laugh. And actually, so we also buried a little bit of compost here, and underneath this silver beet here, there's more tomato seedlings popping up. So more tomatoes on the way. Fabulous. Because we were lacking in tomatoes, obviously. And then behind all of this, we have a couple of little pumpkin plants. This one's going really well, but it's refused to grow out into this space that I kind of left it, and has instead decided to grow up into our peas and up the fence. So I'm not sure how it's actually going to go if it gets a pumpkin on it, because obviously that's going to be heavy, but every time I try and redirect it, it turns itself around and puts all its little clingers onto this. So I'm just letting it figure it out for itself, basically. Along the fence, we've got, so these are the beans that I planted out of the compost the other day. These ones here, these are string beans. I'll see if there's any on there to show you guys. There should be some. Oh yeah, there's some. There we go. So there's a few on there actually. I'll grab my little bowl. So string beans, these ones will go into our curries. They'll go into stir fries, or yeah, we have stir fries with dumplings. You'll get them in there, or in our nasi goreng, if you get that when you come on camp. So all those sorts of things. I'm just going to go for a little pick through because there's actually quite a few beans, as well as there's a bunch of snow peas in here as well, which I'm just going to quickly go through and pull out. I'll have to dig underneath the pumpkin to try and find them all, but 2 seconds. I'm just going to harvest some and then we'll keep going. Alright, so from our beans, we go back into another bunch of tomatoes that go all the way down that tiny little patch of side garden there. Only the ones that are up here though are growing tomatoes. There's flowers on the ones down there, but they haven't got any fruit on them yet. And my guess would be it's got to do with the sun, because those ones down there get hardly any sun at all because of where the fence is and the side of the house, whereas these ones here, they get so much. Also in the garden here, which I missed, and they're not super relevant, but they're beautiful. So we've got some marigolds, which are one of my favorite flowers. Absolutely adore them. They're mostly here to be beneficial plants to help, again, bring in the bugs and stuff like that. But you can actually eat the marigold flowers. They could taste kind of peppery. I haven't found a good way to use them in food yet, but if you have suggestions, if you can think of something that would be better with a little bit of peppery marigold displayed on top, let me know. I'm going to take you into the final part of our garden now, which to me is the messiest part, but it's basically all our little pots of everything. And the reason it's messy is because I have been neglecting them. So in this pot here, there is actually a ton of red onions that are growing up. So that's what these are here, and these are red onions that have gone to seed. So you can actually see here. Oh. I don't know if my camera can see that clearly enough, but you can see, can you see? They're kind of almost like tiny little red onions. So they're the seeds. I haven't planted them out yet, and there's stacks of them. Whoa. Far too close to the camera to pick up on them, but there's stacks of them. Basically, I've just kind of run out of space to put them for now. I don't like planting onions, potatoes, anything root vegetable basically. I don't want to put it in our garden bed just because this isn't a garden bed that I've built. So I don't know what the quality of the soil is. I don't know what nutrients are in there or what else might be in there. So with my root veggies, I'm very much just keeping them in pots that are filled with organic compost that's come from Dad's farm, because I know what's in it and I know that it's creating healthy veggies basically. And as you'll see in a second, I've kind of run out of pot space which is why I haven't planted out these little spring onions, but I might, this will be the good reminder to get on that basically, I think. Next to the red onions, we've got this little pot here. So this got beautiful strawberries growing here. I planted these in here thinking that there was nothing else in here, and this is potatoes. So there are clearly some potatoes in there as well, and I don't want to dig it up and pull them out yet because the strawberries are still going. They're still in season. They've still got a few on them. So I'm going to wait. Strawberries transplant really well, so I'm just going to wait for it to finish its season, then I'll move them to something else and hopefully get all of the potatoes out of here. This one here, I have a feeling these are going to be red onions as well, just because they're right next to this red onion pot, and I think it's probably dropped some of the seeds over here. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. It kind of looks like a grass, but it's also smaller than all the other ones, so it might just be loads of baby red onions. We'll find out soon. Moving over, we've got this monster aloe vera. Don't use this in cooking at all. This is more if we get sunburnt or pop some on. You can see it's quite brown around the edges. It's just because it's been getting so much sun here. So all of the pots in this section pretty much get full sun nearly the full day, and it's quite hot for them during summer. Moving over to these three. So this here is amazing, beautiful lemongrass. So used in a lot of the curry dishes that we cook up, used in the Indonesian style meals that we cook up. We'll just cut some fresh lemongrass, some of the stalk, and blend it into the pastes that we use. And then the rest of the tub is absolutely exploding with more oregano. And some of it's gone to flour, which is perfect for attracting all sorts of good things. Now, this pot here is by far the one that needs the most love. But I don't know if you can see all the little red leaves in there. They are actually beetroots. So it's been taken over by weeds, but there are beetroots in there. And this was a beetroot that's gone to seed. So it's probably dropped all its seeds either in among the oregano or back into its own little tray. Ooh, and dandelions. So yeah, we'll have to definitely have a weed through and try and make some space for more beetroots to pop up. To be entirely honest, I don't prioritize my beetroots because while I know they're so good for you and all the things, I just don't personally like them all that much. So I don't eat them that much, which means that we don't cook with them that much for the camps, but I know they're good for you. I know they're delicious, so really need to work on including them more. If anyone does have any delicious recipe ideas, meals, whatever, smoothies, juices, send them through. Beetroots. Beetroots and the silver beet or Swiss chard or rainbow chard. That's what we're after. And then that back box can definitely be emptied out, and we'll maybe plant some of the red onions in that, but that's parsley that's gone to seed. So that's another tub of parsley. You'll see, apart from the one that I showed you way earlier, there's actually a whole nother box of it here, which has also got some going to seed and some that's super fresh and regrowing. So don't need more parsley, so that box over here will probably empty out and replant some of these seeding things that I've been putting off planting. So from our parsley box, we've then got this little one here. So this is more mint. It's looking a bit less happy over here than it is around the corner, but you can see it's also sending off roots. It's also trying to escape, and it's really not got anywhere to go, unfortunately. So half this bowl is planted up with mint. You can see the roots going all over the place. And then this is thyme. So the thyme's loving it out here. I don't know how it feels about sharing the bowl with the mint, but this mint has gone to seed as well. It's got the flowers on it, which is perfect for bugs. You can see we've got a whole bunch of flowers in here as well, which I have every intention of planting out into the garden, but just haven't gotten around to. But these ones in here are all just ornamental plants. This here is a climbing spinach, a Chinese climbing spinach. It goes mental. I hate it. I don't enjoy it at all. And it's like a weed. Once it starts growing, it's so hard to stop. So I'm a bit sus on it. I have actually planted it out on the fence along the side where those tomato plants are. I've dropped a few roots of it there because I was like, it grows everywhere and it can just grow up the fence, and it's taken off a lot down there. So it's quite pretty, and if you put up fencing or wiring, it'll grow up it and look really gorgeous. For me, it's a weird texture. It's fine to eat in stir fries and things like that. Like, that's probably the most suitable way to use it, or maybe in smoothies and things like that. But just as a raw spinach, like a salad thing, which is for the most part how I use spinach leaves in what we cook. Not my favorite thing. It's not so good raw. It's just kind of got a bit of a weird gummy texture to it. But grows really well, and like with some of the other things I've said, probably should find a better way to use it more, because it's easy to grow and there's lots of it, and it's nutritionally very sound. You can see it's started to grow up these other plants and take off. This one here, what is it? I'm trying to think. It's a root, not ginger. I'm blanking. Galangal, maybe? I think. I can't remember. I'll double check and write it on the video. but it's a root used in Asian dishes quite frequently. And this one is a gorgeous impatiens tree. This one is also one of the plants that you'll see inside the tents as a decorative plant every now and again when it's not being absolutely consumed by Chinese spinach vines. I might have to untangle it. Look how much it's gotten onto that. So yeah, I'll have to untangle it, but it's looking pretty good, so it can probably go back in. I love these ones. This is the closest thing that I've seen to a frangipani down here in Victoria, which are my absolute favourites. I've got another tiny little aloe vera here. This one unfortunately keeps getting taken out just because of how close it is to this box. And now this box normally be something that's full of excitement, and today is full of disappointment, so I'm sorry. But these are our seedlings. So this is where we plant out everything that we're about to grow. The reason it's full of disappointment is because we've had 2 or 3 like quite hot 30-degree days, and everything that was growing really well in here has just all died despite being watered loads. So 3 days ago, if we had have done this, we would have had more of those cosmos flowers, the sulfur cosmos that I said are my favorites that are hanging up. These were watermelons, which is very disappointing that they've died. And probably the other main thing that was growing that's gone, so leeks, they were all leeks along here. And these ones, these little dead shriveled up things, they were rhubarb. So yeah, nothing exciting in here at the moment, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to get the seeds back out and start again, which is a bit disappointing, but excited for rhubarb, because rhubarb and the lemons together will make an absolutely divine like rhubarb and lemon cake, which is my fave. And I have never tried growing watermelons before, so I was excited to see how they go. To be honest, probably not a bad thing because most of the garden space is already taken up, but willing to sacrifice one of my silver beet jungles for some watermelons, because that would be cool. But we might be a bit late in the season for those now as well. So that's the garden. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions about what we're doing, how we use the food, how we prepare it, anything like that, let me know, or gardening questions as well. If you have any suggestions of things to grow, by all means send them through. We'll take it into account. But yeah, I thank you so much for joining me on our tour, and I cannot wait to be able to have this farm at the actual surf camp, all on the same property, so that you're able to walk around the camp and see all the veggies that are being grown fresh, see them going into the meals yourselves, and not just have to watch Instagram stories or videos about where your foods come from. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at camp soon. Sending all my love.